Welcome back, Winning Spirits. Today I'm going to be talking about the importance of pushing yourself past your limits or pushing yourself past your comfort zone every single day, particularly in the morning and particularly first thing in the morning if you can. So every single day you want to do something, some kind of activity, or put yourself in some kind of a situation where you're pushing yourself mentally or emotionally or physically or spiritually or any combination thereof that gets you out of your comfort zone, right? That stretches you, whether it's through a tiny bit of a stress or through a learning process of some sort. So you're just literally doing something where you're pushing yourself past a point where you're usually used to going. This is important because it gets you prepped for the day. Because when you go out into the world, into the day, things will happen. Situations will happen. You'll have a disagreement with someone. You may lose a client. You might have some kind of a client complaint. Whatever it is for you, in whatever position you're in, you're going to come up against some unfavorable circumstances or situations in your life. And if you've already pushed yourself, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually, you're going to be far better prepared to deal with those situations. So it's equivalent to warming up and stretching before you actually do your exercise routine, before you actually lift the weights. I was a personal trainer at 17, something I absolutely loved. And that was a big, important part when I would take people through is make sure that they would be warmed up properly and stretched through dynamic stretching, for example, so that we didn't have an injury. Because if they had an injury, if they came up against something, some kind of a weight or an exercise or a routine that their body wasn't warmed up for, they would most likely get injured. And then when they were injured, which happened very seldomly, they're out for a couple of weeks, couple of months, or whatever it is, depending on the severity of the injury. So warming up and stretching is the equivalent of what you want to do mentally, emotionally, or even physically and spiritually in the morning. So how can you do that? You can do that through exercise. You can do that through even stretching yourself through goal setting exercises, because sometimes that's a stretch for people. Sometimes people aren't able to set goals, or they shoot a little bit short. And so thinking bigger is a mental exercise for them. Thinking bigger is an emotional exercise for them. Spiritually, it could be through your meditation practices or your mindfulness practices. Yes, because it's a stretch sometimes to keep your mind in check. Remember, your mind likes to bounce around everywhere, and that's the whole point of mindfulness and meditation, is to bring it back. That is a very, very good exercise to remain present throughout the day, to stretch yourself first thing in the morning, right? Train your brain to be present first thing in the morning. So if you do some kind of activity or exercise to prep yourself, to push yourself past your limits, you are now able to deal with the world on your terms. If you don't do this particular activity, what ends up happening, and I've seen this quite often with people, is that they come up against a difficult situation and either they freeze or they don't know how to deal with it, or they back down, or it just throws them completely off balance. And that's something that we all need when we deal with our day, is that balance. And what I mean balance is, and this is a core concept of martial arts, the fundamental, you can say, principle of martial arts is balance, right? That's why they teach you stance, because whatever comes your way, whether it's a kick, a punch, or whatever it is, a body, you are able to maintain your balance and you stay on your feet. And that's the most important thing throughout the day. You want to stay on your feet. You want to be aware. You want to be alert. You want to be active. You want to be able to respond properly. And that comes from warming up first thing in the morning by pushing your own limits. So I absolutely love it. So what do I do? One of the things that I do is meditation. That's a clear practice of mine. Sometimes I switch it up for mindfulness. So mindfulness, meditation, they overlap a little bit, but they're not the exact same thing. Or I will do a workout, an intense workout where I push myself. I actually love pushing myself from a workout perspective, because that gets me super pumped. And if I push myself, because it's a mental and emotional exercise, I'm ready to take on the day. But whatever it is for you, whatever activity it is for you, it could be biking, it could be running, it could be doing a meditation, it could be whatever everybody is different. So what works for you may not work for me, may not work for your neighbor. So find that exercise. So let's wrap it up here. The most important thing that you can do every single day, one of the most important things I should say, is to have some kind of activity or exercise where you're able to push yourself past your limits or boundaries so you remain balanced throughout the day and can take on those difficult situations.